What's up, everybody? Would you look at this crowd? I am so excited to be here with you guys today. I really am. Where are the freshmen? Where are the freshmen? Okay, you're all mixed in here. Okay, where are the sophomores? All right. Where are the juniors? Nobody cares about the seniors. I'm just kidding. You guys, I'm so excited to be here with you guys today, but as we quiet down just a little bit, I want to take a quick poll. I want to figure out what's going on here. Does anyone, by show of hand, does anyone recognize either one of these boxes? Okay, all right. Okay, so by a show of hand, how many of you guys have packed one of these boxes? Okay, most of you. By a show of hand, how many of you guys are planning on packing one of these boxes this year? Okay, we got a little work to do over here, but that's all right. That's all right, we'll get there. I am just so excited to be here with you guys today. My name is Yves Dushime, and I am originally from a country called Rwanda in Africa. I brought a couple of photos to show you guys. If you can pay attention to these screens here. Let's go back one slide. These kids that you see here are, I don't know who they are. I found them on Google. And I thought they were cute, so I added them to my slide. I've been trying to find a photo of the day that I got my shoebox, and I have yet to find one. I know they're out there somewhere, but until I find one, these kids are it. But on a serious note, they remind me a lot of the day I received the shoebox. These kids that you see here are brothers somewhere in Africa. Will you just look at the joy on their faces? The joy on their faces is one that over 157 million kids have experienced to this day. And this is all because of the work that you guys are doing here. So if you get anything out of what I'm saying here today, let it be this. Thank you for being missionaries across the globe by packing shoeboxes without ever having to set foot on a plane, because that's what you are. You're allowing a people like this to get to hear the most powerful message of hope, the most powerful message of love, and that is the gospel. And these kids wouldn't have that opportunity if it weren't for you guys. So why don't you guys give yourselves a hand for that? Give yourselves a hand. This next photo here is the photo of my actual family. We currently live in a tiny little place called Buffalo, New York. You guys ever heard of it? Yes? Anyone ever been to Buffalo? You're lying. No one goes to Buffalo. Most people going to Buffalo are going in the summertime to visit Niagara Falls. And what's the first thing that comes to mind when you guys think Buffalo? Snow. I hear the Bills over there. We will not talk about the Bills today because it's a bit of a sore subject. But we will talk about the snow. Buffalo is known for their crazy amount of snow. A couple years ago, we had 7 feet of snow. 7 feet of snow. I wish I was exaggerating. Which is insane because I'm a kid who grew up in West Africa. But then 10 years ago, our parents picked us up and moved us to Buffalo, New York. How dare they? Buffalo, New York. But this is my mom and dad and my siblings. And, despite my complaints about the 7 feet of snow and the 7 months of winter, we are just incredibly grateful to have Buffalo. We're incredibly grateful to be in this country. Guys, we are so blessed in this country. Do you believe that? We are so blessed in this country. Amen? For the first time ever, upon moving to the United States, I was able to go to bed at night and sleep through the entire night without fear of bombs dropping on my head, without fear of bullets piercing through my tent, without fear of people coming in to kill us. And the reason why, you might be wondering, why is this guy so paranoid? The reason why we have this mentality is because of where I'm originally from. My family is originally from Rwanda, and I think I have a map here. If we could go to this map, the Rwanda is that red country that you see there in the heart of Africa. For those of you, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think Rwanda? Genocide. Yeah. The Rwandan genocide of 1994. If you'll allow me to give you a quick refresher on the history of the genocide, it took place as a result of a power struggle between two people groups, Hutus and Tutsis. And these people were struggling because they both wanted the control of the power in the country. They both wanted the control of the natural resources in the country. And one thing led to another. The rebels got their hands on a surface-to-air missile, and they shot down the president's plane. And the moment they did that, the military was like, you know what, we got to crack down on these rebels. Now, all of a sudden, the rebels are outnumbered. And the civilians joined in to back their brothers and sisters from that ethnic group. Next thing you know, the other side is outnumbered. And then the civilians on that side is like, you know what? We got to jump in and help our brothers and sisters. And all of a sudden, it was a bloodbath. It was a civil war. And within the first 100 days, the Rwandan genocide took the lives of approximately 1 million people. 1 million people. Can you even begin to imagine what 1 million people look like? As people were exiting Rwanda, and they were walking away. I think I have a photo here of these people walking out of Rwanda. Many of them were feeling the ground was a little weird and soft, and they couldn't quite figure out why because of all the fog. But turns out they were walking over the bodies of people. Mass murders, mass graves just going up. 1 million people gone in the span of 100 days. There's a reason why I'm telling you this. I'm telling you this because in that million were my family members. Outside of that photo that you saw, the only surviving family member that I have is my mom's little sister. I lost my aunts, my uncles, my cousins. I've never met any of my grandparents, my grandmas and my grandpa, because they were killed in the Rwandan genocide. And the only crime they committed was being born in an ethnic group they didn't choose to be born into. That's the only crime they committed. And contrary to popular belief, there is no physical characteristics there are none, that could help people identify a Hutu from a Tutsi. There's no way to tell who's from which tribe. So the only way for people who did the killing to know who to kill is if they knew them beforehand. It was friends killing friends. It was neighbors killing neighbors. It was work colleagues killing work colleagues. You could have gone to church with someone on a Sunday morning, and by the time afternoon rolled around, they were ready to take your life just because you belonged to a different ethnic group. There is a reason why I'm telling you this. I'm not telling you this to make you feel guilty in any way. I'm telling you this because I want you to understand the kind of mental state I grew up in as a kid. As a kid, I hated people. I hated the world. I hated Rwandans because they had taken the lives of my grandmas and my grandpas just because they were born in a different ethnic group. I hated Rwandan people. But I also hated the rest of the world. I hated America and Europe. I hated everyone because they stood idly by. They just sat there for 100 days while 1 million people were being slaughtered. And they did absolutely nothing to stop it as they watched the mass graves go up on their satellites. I hated people. This is how I grew up. Filled with so much hatred and anger in my heart. But then when I was 11 years old, somebody handed me one of these boxes. And inside this box was a sticky note at the very top. And that sticky note said this. It said, God loves you, Jesus loves you, I love you. Now, I grew up in a Christian home. My dad's a pastor. And he would tell us often that God loved us, that Jesus loved us, and I love you from a complete stranger just messed me up. I didn't understand how somebody that I hated so much, a member of that humanity that I despised so much, had loved me enough to send me this note telling me they loved me. Not only that, but they sent proof. They sent proof that they did in fact love me in the form of a gift, the one and only gift I'd ever gotten. You know, I wrestled a lot with that sticky note. I wrestled a lot with it because I didn't understand how a stranger could possibly demonstrate that kind of love, but that sticky note eventually won. It eventually won because God started to work in my heart. And God started to rid my heart of that anger, that rage, that pain, that brokenness. And He started making some room in my heart for compassion, for love, for joy, and for peace. My life has been changed forever as a result of God using a stranger, a shoebox, and a stupid sticky note. Guys, this is the work that you're doing. You're changing the lives of people in a real way, every year. And my story is just only one of 157 plus million. You know, my family did this walk to find themselves in a country called Congo. My parents walked for 2 weeks. And at the time, my mom was actually 8 months pregnant with me. So I didn't do that walk, but she did that walk so I'd have a chance at a future. And eventually, they found themselves in a refugee camp. This is what a refugee camp looks like. How many of you guys woke up in a house today, in an apartment today, in a bed today? Just a show of hand. How many of you guys woke up in a house today? Guys, we are so blessed in this country. We are so blessed in this country. This is where I was born. This is where I was raised. And I can tell you that the people that you see in this picture, they are hungry, they are thirsty. But the thing that they're in very much need of in these moments is something we call hope. They're in desperate need of hope. And I know this because I was there. These people are refugees, not knowing what tomorrow holds. They're in desperate need of hope. And guys, that feeling that you're feeling in your heart right now, that anger, that burning in your heart, that's called empathy. You're putting yourself in their shoes and trying to imagine what it would feel like to wake up in a place like this. And maybe some of you guys right now are feeling a little helpless, a little powerless, wondering how you can possibly help, how you can possibly alleviate these problems going on today. But I'm here to tell you that there are 68 million refugees in the world right now as we speak. And many of them are waking up in places like this. Many of them in desperate need of that message of hope. And guys, every year those refugees are being met with a little glimpse of hope. And it's coming in the form of shoe boxes, those very boxes that you pack every year. Some things that the history books don't mention often is the fact that in the million that died in the Rwandan genocide, many were people who were traveling, doing those walks, and along the way they lost their family members. Along the way they lost their belongings. Along the way they lost their partners and their friends. But then along the way they lost something called hope. And as a result, they decided to take their own lives because they had nothing left to live for. Guys, they committed suicide because they had nothing left to live for. They committed suicide because they had lost hope. And every year, refugees are committing suicide because they're losing hope. Many of them are being met with shoeboxes before it's too late. I believe our goal this year is 12 million shoeboxes across the world. And I've never been good in math, but I can figure this math out. 12 million shoeboxes, 68 million shoeboxes. We simply don't have enough. So I want to encourage you guys. I want to urge you guys, if you've packed 5 shoeboxes on your own, this year or last year, why don't you shoot for the double the amount? Why don't you shoot for 10, Why don't you go home and invite your families and your friends to get together and pack shoeboxes? Because the reality is the cost of these boxes will not ruin your life forever. It might put a dent in your bank account for a couple of weeks, a couple of months tops, but it will not bankrupt you forever. It will not ruin your life forever. But these boxes that you fill will have the ability to change someone's life forever because they have the ability to communicate that message of hope with these people before it's too late, before they give up. That's the business we're in. That's what this ministry is about. It's not about the toys in here. It's not about the toothbrushes in here. It's about the message that these boxes come with. Now, things got a little better for our family as time went on. I think I have a map here of the next places we went. We moved to Kenya and then moved to Togo in 1998. And there we actually found a house. And I think I have a photo of this house. This is us. This is our house in Togo. My siblings and I. Can anyone guess which one I am, by the way? You can yell it out. Yeah, the cute one in the middle, right there. Look at that little guy. Man, I look so innocent, but I was the worst one. Worst one. But I want to show you this photo because I want you to pay attention to the walls. Those walls are painted. And paint, where I come from, is a luxury. It's a luxury. We were one of the richest families in the entire village. And that room that you see there is our entire house. The back of the room is the bedroom, and the front of the room is the living room. Now, we went to school. We had clothes on our backs. But I grew up in a community where a lot of kids couldn't go to school simply because their families couldn't buy a pack of pencils. A pack of pencils. And I know that sounds crazy because we can go to the Dollar Tree and buy a pack of pencils. You guys have the Dollar Tree here, right? You can buy a pack of pencils for $1 and be able to use it for the rest of the year. Better yet, some of you guys could probably go home, go in your living rooms, go digging in your couch cushions and find enough school supplies to supply an entire school. How many of you guys know what I'm talking about? We are so blessed in this country, amen? Do you guys believe that? Do you believe it? I feel like you still don't believe me. All right, let's go here. I want to ask a quick question. How many of you guys took a shower today? I know it's a personal question, but bear with me here. How many of you guys took a shower today? Teachers, you didn't take showers today. Come on. Okay, let me ask this. How many of you guys took a shower this week? All kinds of hands should be going up in this place. All right. Okay, there's a reason why I'm asking this question. Are you ready for this? Have you ever considered the fact that we're washing the dirt off of our bodies with the very water that 700 million people that we know of across the globe are in desperate need of to drink? We are so blessed in this country, amen? I feel like you still don't believe me. I could go on all day. Have you guys ever considered the concept of storage units? You ever think about paid storage units? And how ridiculous they are? No? We have so much stuff in this country that we're willing to pay somebody else on a monthly basis to store the stuff that we don't need on a daily basis. I mean, come on, somebody. It's insane. It's crazy. And I'm guilty of this now because I have a storage unit. We are so blessed in this country. Which is why I believe we should give more. The Bible says that to whom much is given, much is required, amen? And I believe Uncle Ben and Spider-Man also said that with great power comes great responsibility, right? That's biblical, people. That's biblical. You know, a place where I grew up, let's jump to this next photo here. These were our Christmas gifts to ourselves. This is what we used to give ourselves gifts. I remember we would go dumpster diving in the rich neighborhoods because only they could afford, juice boxes. This is the mango juice box. And we would turn them into cars. And I actually brought one of these today to show you guys. This is what we made as kids. And these were our toy cars growing up. This is what we did every day. You know, I love playing. It's pretty creative, I know. Please give me a hand. It's pretty creative, yeah. I love soccer growing up, and we never had, real soccer balls. I'm a huge soccer fan, Hala Madrid. But we didn't have soccer balls, so we used to wrap plastic bags and wrap them until they were big enough to kick around. Those were our soccer balls. As I close here, I want to show you one more photo. And I want you guys to raise your hand if you can guess what this is. Let's jump to this photo here. Can anyone tell me what this is? If you think you have the answer, just yell it out. Yeah. Firewood. Okay, they're pieces of firewood. Does anyone know what we use them for specifically? Did you guys hear that? Can you stand up and repeat that again? Somebody over there, stand up. What's your name, buddy? What's your name? What's your name? Hayden? Braden? Come see me at the end. I have a prize for you. These sticks that you see here on the screen are what we use to brush our teeth. These are toothbrushes, people. You had to go chew on one end and make it all soft and kind of make these little spikes, kind of like toothbrushes. And then you had to go around brushing your teeth with it. And of course, you're using pieces of stick on your gums, so it would leave so many cuts in your mouth. And if you know anything about West African cuisine, they like to cook spicy food, okay? So because of all the cuts in your mouth and all of the hot and spicy food, your mouth is on fire 24/7. And this is why these boxes that we fill every year come with things like toothbrushes. This is why every box that we fill every year comes with things like toy cars. This is why every box that we fill every year comes with soccer balls. But the reality is, these boxes are so much more than those gifts inside. These boxes are about the message they come with, that powerful message of hope, that powerful message of love, and the gospel that they come with. So you guys, I just want to thank you for all of you that have packed shoeboxes here or at home every year. And I want to encourage those of you who haven't to join us. And come together. Let's band together and send that powerful message of hope to a people in much need of it before it's too late. So you guys, thank you guys so much for having me today.